Hey there, innovative teachers. We have a special holiday episode for you. We know that this time of year can be hectic, and we want to bring you a STEM holiday cheer episode to make you laugh and smile. Also, if you're already loving our podcast, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review. This helps spread the word to other innovative teachers who would love to connect to our community. Stay tuned for a great episode full of laugh and love for STEM. We can't wait to learn and grow with you.
Hello, innovative teachers. So this is kind of like our feel-good episode. I think would be the way to word it. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, because every teacher needs a feel-good this time of year. Because I saw like a post about this the other day. The 3 weeks between Thanksgiving break and Christmas break are the 3 longest weeks of the year, and I'm like, oh yeah, it for
It's
sure
like
is.
its own month. Like
It
even
is.
though it's December, it's not. It's like its own month.
Oh yeah, the kids know it, and everything's kind of crazy. And this year, there's so much more thrown into it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like every year there's just layers and layers of all kinds of stuff. So we're gonna get into all the feel good stuff. So one thing that I've noticed over like the last couple of years, obviously, and I feel like it's important to say, even though most people know, is just STEM is just changing the education world. And I feel like there's so much evidence, and we just say like, "Hey, STEM is changing education," but we don't say why. Here's what I would say is why is that your students are seeing those different engineering design principles, and those struggling students get to showcase their talents.
Yes.
Like I still remember when I first started doing STEM, the way they separated classes that year was into low, medium, and high. And every time I
Oh.
would talk places, people would always talk about differentiation,
Mm-hmm.
which is it's important. And there's different circumstances, but like these kids were just they're lower math students, or they're reading or whatever. And those kids did incredible. They were always my best students. They were most on task, and I felt like it was because if we were doing like the sleigh unit, which we're doing now,
Yeah.
those kids, if something went wrong, they're like, hey, I can fix this. Like they have those skills because they've always had to try to learn in many different ways.
Interesting.
So yeah, so like if you see like a kid struggling a lot and you're like, man, he just doesn't get it, takes him multiple tries, it takes him a long time to figure things out. Those kids, I feel like, are going to do very well in life because they have problem solving skills. I was one of those kids. I had to go get like reading. I had a tutor. I almost said a tutor reading specialist that my mom hooked me up with because she was a teacher,
Uh-huh.
for my whole elementary career, because I was a terrible reader and I tried so hard and I tried so many different things. And my mom always said it would equip me well for life because I would know how to solve problems when they came my way. Kids that succeed the first try every time, they do not know how to do that. And
Yes.
it's a skill.
Yes. Yep. And they have a harder time typically later on because everything's like easy for them and don't know
Mhm.
how to attack a problem.
Exactly. And I feel like that's what, for me, if I could tell you to take away anything from what I'm talking about, I would say it'd be that is, if you haven't used STEM, or if you are changing those kids' lives tremendously. And I've had so many struggling students tell me that, like that are in middle school and high school now. They're like, because of you, I felt like I could actually do something. And here's kind of like the fields I'm wanting to go into now. And even like one of the examples I wrote down, like on the little show notes, is like the shoes with a purpose, which I'm speaking at a conference. We just recorded it on yesterday, so Tuesday. And it's going live at like 6 a.m. They're doing like a 24-hour conference
Really?
because it's around the world, so all different time zones.
Oh, wow.
So they're doing like, it's almost like full 24 hours. So we did a 6 a.m. time slot.
Oh,
We're like, yeah.
wow.
But when we did the shoes with a purpose, there was a girl, and my community's a lot of farmers. So it's a lot of husbands working in the fields and ladies staying home, taking care of kids. And she always just thought that's what she was going to do because she thought that was her only option,
Oh,
which
my
made me
God.
terribly sad because she was so talented when it came to design on the computer with her shoes. Like she made a pair of Nike shoes out of cardboard that looked like legit Nike shoes. And after that, she like saw me. I saw her the other day, and she was telling me how she's like, yeah, I want to go in to a design school in Chicago. It's like one of the top schools. She was considered like a low student, and she's not anymore. She's like, yeah, I just keep on working my butt off, hoping I can get scholarships to go. Because she's like, that's just something I want to do with my life because of what I did in your classroom. So I like that made me feel really good to know, that lesson, which is a really cool one where we raise money for kids and it's free in my TPT store, could change your students' lives the same way because she just completely 180 was like, oh, I want to move, get maybe some like cultural experience from something else and be able to do something just a little bit different.
That's
I
so
just thought that was really, yeah, I thought that was really cool. And like mostly, you'll hear people be like, well, kids will take away engineering components, but she took away more like a design.
yeah.
I mean, it was like outside the box of what you would typically normally see. And then the last thing I was going to talk about that I feel like is like a feel good thing, at least for me. And I feel like a lot of other teachers, and if like I'm the kind of person, like most teachers, I feel like I'm pretty hard on myself. I'm always like, I could have went better. Like it always could have went better. And I feel like a lot of teachers that are that way. But I
Yeah.
felt like all teachers I talked to did something really cool during remote.
Mm-hmm.
Like they did something different, something out of their ways. Like when you
Yes.
talked about like taking 3D prints to like kids' houses, I was like, that's what it's all about. Like that's
Oh,
just,
I know. It was
you know
so
what I mean?
cute.
It's like that kind of stuff is what made remote learning, in my opinion, successful. I mean, a lot of people are saying like kids are behind, but I just don't agree with that. I think, when I did remote, I tried doing like STEM choice boards and I did STEM morning work and I did, some different STEM task cards. And I really just said like, keep it simple, stupid was my biggest motto to myself, because I'm like, I don't want to overwhelm parents. I don't want to overwhelm kids. And I had so many parents reach out to me with photos of their families like doing the STEM projects together, or
Cute.
they were like doing, different fun things together. So I'm like, man, if those choice boards could change kids' lives and parents' lives like that, I just think that's so cool. And those, different morning work things and task cards and all that fun stuff that I like to make in my spare time as it is. I'm like, when I'm up at 5 a.m. working on that stuff or real late at night, which you do like the same thing. It's like,
Yeah.
it's not going to waste. And I feel like
Oh,
that's
not
like a
at
physical thing.
all.
Yeah. And sometimes it's hard not to feel that way, because you're like, man, I just feel like I work so hard. I work
I
all the time.
know.
And teachers all over feel that way. And I get that. Like you should feel that way. And you got to reset sometimes, but it's good to take a step back and realize how much it changes people's lives, I think.
Oh, for sure. Like when I'll save like my reviews on Teachers Pay Teachers, like for the week. Like I'll read them really quick, but I like to save them at the end of the week and respond at once, because it makes me like so happy. And I'm always, every single time, like, oh my gosh, I just helped a kid in another state, or I just helped another teacher, which I've never met them and I've helped them. Like that is crazy to me. It still shocks me every single time.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, I helped someone else.
I'm
Like,
like the same way, but the way you just described that, I feel like I could see you like sitting there on your computer, cuddling your dog, and you're
yeah.
like husband walks in, you're like crying a little bit. You're
I'm
like,
like,
it's okay.
look at this, Frederick. Look what they said.
No, I'm the same way, because like I'll read them and I'll be like, wow, that was really cool. Like that makes me want to keep on doing. So like, if you're a person that's listening to this and you like buy a lot of things on TPT, review them, because
Yeah.
that keeps those people motivated. And I
It,
always say that, I'm like, that's whoever you buy from or whatever you get or for wherever for, review it, because that's always going to change someone's life.
oh, definitely. It makes us so happy.
I know. So
So,
what are some like feel good stories for you?
I mean, it was funny because we were like, let's do this episode. And then we like draw a blank, but no, I don't know. I think remote has been interesting. Like it's been cool to see, like you said, how much the kids have learned and how to use technology, and how they've had to problem solve quickly. This is just a quick one. And I love kindergarten. Like I always wanted to be a kindergarten teacher. That never happened. So when the kindergartners come, I am so excited. But they were so cute in our Zoom lesson. I was like, okay, guys, we're going to try something new. We're going to try the reactions. And so it's a smiley face with a plus sign. And if you click on it, there's different things that happen. I want you to try it. So I had a little sign, and then they figured them out. So they started clicking the little reactions, like the thumbs up, the smiley face. And then there was a little heart one. I'm like, oh, that's so nice. Like, good job finding. He's like, he unmutes. Miss Meredith, I picked the heart because you look beautiful today. I was like, oh, thank you. And then all these little hearts just start
These are all
popping
of
up on the
them.
screen. But it was just cool, like just little things like how they can get proud of themselves. Like it doesn't take a lot to entertain me. But I just love how like STEM and technology, like they get so excited when they can do it. And I get excited because they can do it too. So it's just like a big celebration, even if it's a little thing like, oh, you searched an image correctly. Good job. Or you learned how to do copy paste. Like that was a big lesson in second grade. We did Control C, Control V. And that was life changing for them. They were so happy. I was like, look at you guys use computer shortcuts. So it's just cool, like how you can just teach them little things that they can use over and over again, which is so amazing. And then you're like, you think about it, you're like, oh my gosh, I taught you that. Like that's always
Yeah.
crazy.
They'll be using it like 15 years from now. And you're the one
Yeah.
introducing to it. That's always cool to think about.
But it just like makes me happy when they get all excited, like they find a little trick because I love tech tricks. And so they just get excited, but it's super cute. And just I love like how like you can still build your relationships in a different way and teach them about the world in a different way. I was showing the kids a YouTube video that I made just because there's a lesson I was teaching over and over again about like something with Google. And then they're like, asking me about YouTube. So it was an interesting like conversation. Like they're used to watching YouTube videos, but they're asking more about that behind the scenes, which was super cool because I could give them that insight. Like, oh yeah, here's how it works. Like, here's how you set it up. They're like asking me who edits my videos. I'm like, it's all me, guys. It's all.
Yeah.
And then they started clapping for me.
She like stand up and like took a bow and like thank you.
I think I did because I
Did you? I would have.
I've had them. They're fifth grade now. I've had them for 3 years and we have a good relationship. But it was
Right.
just cool, like how you could show them the world in a different way and still have that relationship. And it's still fun and it's still engaging and exciting. I don't know. I don't know if you've done clubs this year. Have you been able to do after school clubs?
I'm waiting until January. My club starts in January to
Yeah.
like March is what I'm thinking, or like February because I'm gonna wait because our school is like uncertain of what our schedule is gonna
Yeah.
look like second half of the year. So they told me to wait, but I'm excited to do clubs. I like doing clubs.
I do too. I'm kind of in the same thing. Like we weren't able to do them yet. I'm so sad, but I love after school clubs and I'm obsessed about them. Like I do like one almost every day because I think it's important, like you said, like to involve kids who might not have these opportunities before, never even thought about these opportunities. And I just get the most unique group of kids, and it's just really cool to see their thinking in like a less academic way, and we can test things and try them out. Like I remember my stop motion animation club, which I have like the whole curriculum written out because I love stop motion and animation. But would have kids pair up with each other who never really knew each other, but then they found they were like ended up being good friends later on. So it's just really cool. Like if you if you're able to this year or next year, do a STEM club, even if you're not a STEM teacher, it's a great way to build connections within the kids because they might find new friends who have like a similar like work style or type of creativity. And it's just a great like way for them to connect with each other, which they don't always get that chance. So that's been really cool to see like different grades and older. And we talked about that kid, like older kids helping younger kids. So clubs are just a really awesome way to open up those possibilities for you to try stuff out, but also the kids to connect with others. I thought that was super cool.
That is, and I feel like all that club stuff too. Like you said, it's for those like kids. I feel like that are just feel left out. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? There's kids that they get involved in basketball, football, whatever, which is great. I'm not knocking those things, but then there's those kids that, well, maybe those things aren't for them, and maybe they're not good at those things, or they don't like them. You know, what's for them? And
Yeah.
that's what I think is cool about like those robotics, stop motion, all that stuff. Because I want to do stop motion this year. That's
Yeah.
because I get to choose my club this year because we're not doing the robotics because they don't want us to go and compete. And
Mm-hmm. That's like
I'm
that.
the only person for it, so I didn't. There was too many kids to me, so I couldn't do it. So
That
I'm
one's
like,
a
stop
great
motion.
one. And if you can't have them collaborate like together, they can do it on their own if you need, but it's super cool. And what it's helped me to like see kids in a different way and also talk to their classroom teachers about things like even with parent teacher conferences, like sometimes it's a strength that parents might not even know either. So it's just really cool to like help parents get clued in on just other things their kids like. So that's just a really great option. I just love clubs for that reason. I've been missing mine so much.
So we loved creating this episode today. Make sure you follow us on, Instagram and all those major platforms as we are continuing to try to grow those. Our Facebook group, especially, we're doing all of our little stocking stuffers this month. So it's a great way for you to get little tidbits of STEM information for free. If you're interested in collaborating us, whether that's like an interview on our podcast, marketing opportunities, or have, anything for us to maybe present at your school as we are trying to do some different fun PD things for schools, you can email us at innovativeteacherpodcast@gmail.com. We already have a couple booked and we don't want to book too many. So make sure you reach out to us as soon as possible. Also, if you're loving our content, make sure you check out our Patreon. Our Patreon is a platform for exclusive goodies for you in your classroom, from task cards to engineering boards. We have it all on there for you for one flat rate each month. Thank you so much for listening to Innovative Teachers. We can't wait to see you in the next episode.